Have you ever been taught how to learn? Do you know how to learn? You might think you do, but most people actually don't. Let me explain. You see, learning is a skill, and just like most skills, they start at level 0. They start at the lowest level possible. We have basically zero knowledge on how to learn when we are first born. We go to schools and no one teaches us how to learn. We're just expected to know how to do it, which we don't. We're still at level 0. And we accidentally, throughout our lifetime, increase this level by a little bit, until, maybe when we're like 20, it's level 30 or something. The thing is, just like a skill, any other skill, it can be leveled up fast. And if you're better at learning, you can be better at everything. Because to drive a car, you need to learn how to drive a car. To make a YouTube video like this one, you need to learn how to make a YouTube video. So if you can level up your learning skill, you can theoretically level up every skill in life. Most people go to school and we're taught how to read, how to write, how to, do all these other things, but we're never taught how to learn. We are just expected to be born with it, which we are, but if we were to be able to learn more, learn faster, learn better, it would actually make it easier for us to be able to get better at anything in life. Here's an example, and here's my personal experience with this. I was doing my schooling just like every other kid does, okay, homeschooling. And it took me 3 to 5 hours to get the whole day's worth of schooling done, right? It took 3 to 5 hours for one day's worth of work. When I actually learnt how to learn, and I stumbled upon this a few months ago, I put all my focus into my school, I learnt how to learn, and guess what? I finished 2 days worth of school in half the time, in 90 minutes. That's not good enough for you? Well, here's a better example. Most people it takes to become professional at a coding language such as Python, it takes 2 years. When I learnt how to learn, and I did the correct formula and I followed the steps, it took me 2 months to be up to programming artificial intelligence. At 13. A 13-year-old programming artificial intelligence. Because I learnt how to learn. Now that you understand why you should learn, why most people don't know how to learn, and what I'm going to cover in this video, let me explain how you actually learn. But first, I need to mention that there are a few prerequisites. These prerequisites are, you must be mindful, which if you're on self-improvement, like I teach in all my other videos, this will help. You must be present. You must know how to control your focus so you can put all your attention into something and enter what's called a flow state. And you need to be disciplined. Because if you can't sit down and actually do the work for a good period of time, then it's going to be very hard for you to actually learn correctly and to learn how to learn to level up the learning skill. So now that I've got those prerequisites out the way, here's how you actually learn. It's a 4-step process. There are 4 steps to it which will teach you how to learn correctly. The first step is content. This means you consume content such as, for the Python example, what I did, I watch tons of YouTube videos, read books, watch articles, just learn all day. I'm reading about Python. I'm consuming information. I'm gaining knowledge. Once I've gained the knowledge, then I need to take the knowledge and understand it, analyze it, work out why does this work, why does that work, why doesn't that work, and why doesn't that work. So you've got to understand what works, what doesn't, why does it work, why does this one not work, what's the difference between them, what do they mean, what do they do. You've got to understand everything about what you've just learnt. Once you have worked it all out, you have just completed this 3rd step, which is understanding. You must understand before you can move on to the final step, and the final step is remembering. Pretty simple, right? The first step is to consume the knowledge. The second step is to analyze. The third step is to completely understand. So this goes hand in hand with analyze, because fully analyzing will help you to fully understand. Then you move on to remembering. And All you have to do to remember is just follow some remembering tips. Pretty simple, right? That's it. That's all there is to leveling up your learning skill. But if you're not focused, how will you be able to analyze it correctly? How will you be able to consume hours worth of content if you're not focused, if you're not disciplined, if you're not mindful or present? You need those prerequisites so that you can sit down for 3 hours and just learn. Because it's much better when this process is all done all within the same time period, all within the same amount. So within this 3 hour period of you sitting down focused fully, you consume, you analyze, you understand, and then you remember. And you've just learnt something. The thing is that most people miss out on is they consume the content, like they're hearing how to do math or how to program with Python, and they skip the analyzing step. That's the biggest one. They skip analyzing. They don't work out why it works. And because of this, they go, okay, this line of code, print hello world, will print hello world. Cool, good to remember. And they skip that step. But if you really want to learn, you need to ask, why does that work? Well, the reason it works is because print is for printing a word onto the screen. Okay, cool, that makes sense. But what if I add this thing here? Little extra, like, apostrophes and stuff like that. Brackets. What happens if I add that there? Does it do something else? Why does that not work? Well, because this doesn't work with this and this. You see what I'm getting at? Most people skip that step. A very small percentage of people will skip the understanding step. They'll take in the information, they'll analyze it, and they'll go, yeah, I think I understand it, and they'll move on to remembering. Thing is, if you remember something that you think you understand, but you're not sure you understand, then you could be remembering false information, which is not very helpful to you, which means you have to go back and learn it again. So, you have to do every single step. Some people skip the entire content part as well. They don't consume anything. They just analyze things that other people have said, things that they just think about, or they analyze nothing. Go, oh yeah, you probably can't really do that. But people skip the other 3 steps, mostly. The most common one is analyze. Most people don't go, why does that work and why does that not work? Then the second most common one is skipping the understanding step, where they go, yeah, I think I've got it. I'll just wing it. No, you're learning, not winging it. The fourth thing, the last thing they understand, the third thing they understand, they skip, is remembering. After they've analysed it, they understand it, they go, yeah, I'll remember, who cares? They forget about it. If you're trying to learn how to learn, another great way that you can actually do this, after you follow these steps, is to ping back and forth with a partner or someone who's working with you. For example, if I was learning about programming, and I told my best friend about what I'm learning, and he's also learning programming, he could tell me if I'm right or wrong based on his analysis. We could use our shared analysis to work out what is truly right and truly wrong. Or he could already have experience in that and he could bypass that whole step. He could go, hey, I already know that this works because of this. And you could sit there and go, that seems true, remember. So having someone and a group of people to talk to related to the topic that you're interested in is extremely important. And I actually have a private community that is free that you can join. It's my own personal tribe of like-minded people. We all talk about self-improvement, our struggles, our successes, and we just have some fun chatting with each other. I'm personally on there morning and night, so if you want to chat with me, go for it. I'm willing to help you out with whatever you're willing to learn. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Definitely go check it out. That'll help you massively. So now that you understand this very simple process for learning how to learn, all you really need to do to improve your learning ability is to improve each one of these steps. If you dedicate 1 hour to consuming content, and after you've consumed the content, you dedicate another hour to working out, understanding how it works, and then you take another hour to remember, you have just learnt that thing fully. So to upgrade your learning ability, you need to be able to consume more content, and you need to be actually paying attention to the content. So this is where presence and mindfulness comes in, and discipline. If there's a 1 hour long video that's going to give you a ton of value, you need to be focused on that video. You need to not be thinking about Minecraft or other rubbish. You need to be focused on what you're trying to learn. You also need to actually be able to sit down with a very sharp mind and analyze what's going on. Work out what's happening. Make sure you understand. You need to have humility and presence to admit when you're wrong and when you don't fully understand. And for remembering, you need to just sit there and be disciplined enough to remember. And the way you do this is simply like writing down on a piece of paper everything you've learnt. Consuming a ton of information on one topic, you'll definitely remember something about that topic. Or for the things that you really struggle to learn, repeat them every single day until you remember them, while also writing it down, because writing is a very important thing. So once you get better and more disciplined and more better at doing each of these 4 steps, you get better at learning. And when you get better at learning, it's a lot easier to be successful in life. Here's a cool thing. This is where the major success comes in, so do not skip this part. Learning, when you are fully focused and your mind is completely invested in learning, in consuming, in analyzing, in remembering and understanding, all of that, when it's completely involved, completely obsessed with this one thing, it gets done faster. Because if you're thinking about video games or junk food or what you can do with your friends while you're trying to learn coding, your mind's in 2 different spots. Half of it's trying to learn, half of it's over here. Half your mental power is on this something else that's irrelevant. The other half of the mental power is actually learning something. You put all of it on there, you double how easy it is to do, so it becomes 2 times as easy, and you finish it in half the time. It's insane. So making sure that you put all of your focus into what you're learning will make all of your learning stuff so much easier. You'll learn it quicker, you'll learn it deeper and have a better understanding, and you will learn more. You imagine being able to learn how to drive a car within 1 year, within a half a year, within 2 months or a week. You get so good at learning to the point where you dedicate a whole day just to this one thing. You're going to learn so much, so quick. And here's a quick framework for how long it takes to become beginner to intermediate, intermediate to professional with any single topic. Most topics, probably not boxing or driving cars, might be a little bit harder, but for most topics. To become a beginner, most people think that it takes a long time. If you learn how to learn, it doesn't. Once your learning skill is good enough, it doesn't take that long. To become a beginner, it takes 1 day. From knowing nothing to being a beginner, 1 day, maybe an hour. To become an intermediate, it takes 3 days. 3 to 5 days, max. To become a professional, 2 weeks to 2 months. Maximum. In fact, 2 weeks probably to 1 month. I believe even I wasn't fully focused at the time. So, it is definitely important to learn how to learn. You want to really be successful in life? You want to achieve all of these things? Learn how to learn. Learning is one of the best skills you can have. If you can wake up, decide, hey, I want to be a professional at sword fighting, go and watch 2-hour-long video on sword fighting, write it all down, test it, experiment, understand why it all works, and by the end of the day, you have full knowledge on everything you learned. Because if you skip half of these steps and you don't learn these things, you're going to be coming back to them over and over and over. And this is why it takes so long in most school systems. To teach you one math topic, it possibly takes a week. It doesn't take a week to learn that one topic. It takes 1 day. To become a professional, it takes a few months because there's a lot to learn. Every single thing you learn can easily be done within a few hours to 1 day. It doesn't take any longer. If you're trying to learn advanced math, like if you're trying to learn algebra for the first time or something like that, it doesn't take a week of learning. It takes 1 day. You understand everything about it, you learn everything about it, and you just consume, understand, analyze, and remember. So I hope this video kind of helps someone out who didn't understand this. I'm also trying to work on the lighting, changing it to make it a little bit darker, see how this works with the video setting. And keep up the good work. Peace out.